Look, Paul George making news did not meet expectations, as we know, this season. First-round exit was certainly not what they were looking for. But this does not automatically mean he is out of OKC, according to Mark Stein in the New York Times. Stein writes in his newsletter, quote, "There is a growing belief around the league that Oklahoma City has a far better chance to retain the free agent to be Paul George than many believed when the Thunder crashed out of the first round of the playoffs." This is interesting. It's interesting because, Paul George, I think, is still underrated at how good a player he is, how good a two-way player he is, and what he can bring to a team, especially as a in-tandem ingredient with others. And it's interesting because he is so good at potentially being that. If he does stay in Oklahoma City, then maybe LeBron doesn't come west the way we think he might be tempted to if Paul George is interested in joining him.
Well, I think the first thing you got to start with, we talked about it with Kawhi, we talked about it with Kyrie, they can offer him the most money. So, and it's not like it's a dire situation. Oklahoma was a competitive team last year. Could they be better? I think we all expect them to be able to do better. So it's not like locking into the Sacramento Kings or something. He'd be getting more money to play for a competitive Western Conference team. Now, there has to be changes. They've got to do a better job of utilizing his skills, showcasing him more, being a more complete team. And I think part of that is tied to what happens to Carmelo Anthony. I think that's just too many cooks in the kitchen. If you get rid of Carmelo Anthony, you replace him with someone who...
Get rid of Carmelo Anthony, how?
Buyout.
Okay.
I'm just saying, his addition by subtraction, nothing against Carmelo, but just being in that roster spot, someone who knows I'm a complimentary player. I'm just here to help these guys, Russell and Paul.
Well, that was going to be my point about this. Him staying in OKC, all right, twofold, right? He has to know LeBron. He can't team up with LeBron, right?
Yeah, LeBron had to tell him, like, you framed it as PG first.
I was going to say, you guys don't think that Paul has his own mindset about whether
but if he
team with Russ versus LeBron? That's a choice he's allowed to make.
Sure, for sure. But if he can team up with LeBron, that's a slam dunk situation. That's what you do.
That's
there,
a better choice.
Yeah. No offense.
He's had opportunities to team up with LeBron before.
So
there's been trade talks with Indiana.
And it almost happened because Griff tried to pull that off. But so plan A should be trying to team up with LeBron. If that doesn't happen, then it's Melo. In this situation, I look at it as, and I didn't think about buying him out or anything like that.
Wave or something.
But I thought more along the lines of Melo needs to come to the realization that he's not the player he once was. And I know he may get mad to hear that, but he's better suited.
Whether it's in this moment he's not the player that he was, or it's 6 months from now or it's a year from now, it does happen to everyone.
Right. So he needs to be relegated to that third role. The third role would be the guy who can be a good spot-up shooter, which clearly Melo can be. And Paul George can be the Robin or the 1A to Russell Westbrook. If it's like that, then I think it works. Early in the season, we didn't see that. We saw that a little more as time went by, but it just looked like they were taking turns out there.
You know what it reminded me of? I was thinking about this, we always think you have to have three. What are the teams that had two and then one? I remember that first Lakers Kobe Shaq championship, Glenn Rice.
Yeah.
And Glenn Rice did enough, and they won, and he was out of that after that. When you talk about players of that caliber, and I know Melo's not what he once was, but he's still really good at scoring.
Yeah.
To reduce your role all the way down to that, I don't think it's possible now.
I wonder what would happen if he tried coming off the bench and sort of having that, first of all, having the defense that would be playing him in that scenario, and also being able to have the ball move through his hands more if you're not necessarily playing with Russ all the time. I don't know, could be good for everyone.
I agree.
We shall see.